Good afternoon again. It's Johan again from A Touch of Dutch Landscaping in Stratford. This episode we're talking about the cleaning up of the gardens in the fall. It's towards the end of October, even though it doesn't feel like it. And at some point we have to start with cutting down all the perennials and other plants and getting the garden ready for winter. So it's really not that big of not that hard of a task. We usually start with cutting down all the perennials that have to be cut down, like lilies and hostas and any other plants that are around. We leave all the ground covers. We remove all that material. We put it in the compost pile, and next year or in 2 years from now, we can use it again as compost in the gardens. Then the next item is to rake out all the leaves. Some people really want to keep all the leaves in the garden, which is fine um, as long as you don't get a problem with mice and other rodents. If the layer of leaves becomes too thick or too wet, then that sometimes becomes an issue. So we generally prefer to clean the leaves out in the fall and put them on a compost pile and compost them and bring them back as compost next year. The cat's coming by for a walk here, but that's all right too. So even the periwinkle, the ground covers, once the leaves are down, rake it out as much as you can, just with a leaf rake. Then after that, ornamental grasses. A lot of people like to leave up the ornamental grasses, which is a great plan, especially if you only have a couple in your garden. Leave them as long as you can, because there's still some seed heads in there, and the birds can still benefit from the seed heads. The problem is, once we get into winter and we get a couple snowfalls, all those grasses start falling over, and it becomes an issue in the spring trying to clean that all up. It becomes a lot harder task. So we generally, for our clients, would like to leave them as long as possible, but we do usually by the middle of November start cutting them down just so that the gardens are clean. And once you have all your gardens cleaned up and there's still time left, mulching of the gardens would be a great idea to do that in the fall also. Most people have a bit more time in the fall than what they have in the spring. Once all the perennials are cut down, you can easily take 3 or 4 inches of mulch, put it on all the gardens. Even if you go over top of some of the perennials, it doesn't really matter. They will push through in the spring again, and then all your gardens look beautiful for the winter and they're ready to go for the spring.